Hello Aries, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading, booking a personal reading or coaching session with me, or on my upcoming workshop is in the description box below, and there will be more on that workshop at the end of this video. So let's start, Aries, with looking at the overall energy for your recent past. We're going to look at overall energy through oracle cards first, and then we'll dive deeper into the story with tarot as we progress. But let's start looking at what you guys have been dealing with. Prosperity lies ahead. Your hard work is paying off, and show the world the real you with you are good enough. All right, Aries. Can already tell that I feel Spirit is getting very honest in this reading, because I feel like you have been selling yourself short in some ways, whether it's in a relationship, in a career, just on some path in general. And I feel like what's happening is you're putting a lot of energy into something, a lot of energy into creating something, making something work, into some sort of path here. But at the end of the day, you're constantly feeling like no matter how much you give, that it's not enough. And I think that it's really important for you to know that it's not that you're not enough at all. In fact, it is the complete opposite of that. I feel like whatever this situation is, it is causing you to shrink yourself in some way, or to overextend yourself emotionally, mentally, physically. I'm not quite sure, but I do feel like I feel like whatever this is about, that Spirit is trying to lead you into more prosperity, like more abundance, but it might require a little bit of an adjustment. I don't really know what that means yet. I want to show the world the real you with prosperity lies ahead. Let's just keep going though. Let's see what we've got here. Current energy for Aries. Believe in the impossible. Adjustments are required. Which is just what I said, huh? I said, I think Spirit's trying to lead you toward more abundance, but there might be an adjustment. And here's the thing. I think that whatever this situation is that you've been trying, that you really, from what I can tell, you also don't let your past hold you back with a new start is coming. From what I can tell, you've been pouring yourself into something. And I feel like a big part of that is because you feel like it's as good as it can get. It's almost as if there's this feeling that this has to work, or it has to be like this, or this has to pan out, or else nothing better is ever going to appear. There's no other outcome that's going to match what it is that you desire. And I think a lot of that is what is really keeping you trapped. Because Spirit is asking you, and this sounds a little bit like naive or cheesy, but I do feel like Spirit is asking you to dream bigger for yourself. Because I do, and I started out with saying it, I do feel like there's this energy of selling yourself short, giving more than you're receiving, kind of that Six of Pentacles in reverse energy. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that. And I feel like Spirit's trying to guide you to a more aligned situation or opportunity here. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to just like give whatever this is up by any means, but I do feel as if, you know, maybe stronger boundaries are needed, or you know, distancing yourself from how much energy, time, effort that you're giving so you can start to work toward other things. I'm not quite sure, but let's see what you've got here, Aries, for you moving forward. A win-win outcome is forecast. Have faith in your dreams. So it's almost like, I don't know if there has been a dream that you once had that you've given up on, or put on the back burner, or like if you have some sort of dream, it just feels really impossible in some way. And I think that has caused you, and I'm going to be so honest with you, Aries, to settle in some areas of your life, to settle for less than what you deserve, even if it's like certain circumstances. Like for me, when I was trying to create the life that I desired and it came to like a career that I wanted, for a long time I didn't actually really know what I wanted to do, but I did know what I wanted my day-to-day to look like. I knew that I only wanted to work like 15 hours a week. I knew that I wanted to make enough money to support my lifestyle. I knew that I wanted complete freedom and control over my schedule, and I knew that I wanted there to always be a way for me to grow, for me to always have a stepping stone to something more. And that at the time, I didn't understand what that was going to look like. But then eventually, the path of spiritual coach really kind of didn't fall into my lap, but it was something that really aligned with me. And that's when, you know, I'm able to do tarot, I'm able to do coaching sessions and to do workshops and speaking gigs, and I write, and all of these things kind of come together to help me have what it is that I was looking for. And I say this because I think so much of the time we tend to write off what it is that we do truly desire when we don't see how it's possible. But not believing that it's possible might actually keep us from opportunities that are a lot different than we're expecting. Like, I certainly never expected this to be my path, especially when I was working as a financial advisor. You know, you would have told me that this is what I was going to do for a living, I would have called you crazy. But I do think that, you know, the universe has a way of making things work for us in really surprising and miraculous ways. So sometimes, you know, I think that we sell ourselves short because we literally don't think there's another choice or another option. But I feel like this is Spirit asking you to open your mind and your heart to more here for yourself. Overall theme of this reading for Aries: what is Aries needing to know in order to move forward in alignment with their higher self? Protection. Your path is protected. You are protected. Here's the shift energy here. I feel like what you don't realize is that you have your dreams, your desires are very protected, and you have every capability of bringing these things into reality. And I feel like not only that, but I feel like whatever this is really, really aligns with like your purpose. Therefore, you are very heavily guided on this path as well. So I feel like what's shifting here is almost like it's like maybe in some way you've been taught to fit into some sort of box, or you've been taught to accept less than what you deserve because you don't think that more is possible. And this kind of feels like breaking out of that and stepping into a more aligned path for yourself. But it's one that's going to lead you to the abundance in the freedom and the possibility that you've been searching for all along. So let's dive into this more here. Let's start, Aries, with looking at this recent past. You have show the world the real you, with prosperity lies ahead. So what has Aries been dealing with? Just get like stress and burnout and lack of fulfillment here. Like I said, kind of that Six of Pentacles in reverse energy. Page of Wands. The World. Two of Wands in reverse. The Emperor in reverse, which is obviously Aries energy. Queen of Pentacles upright, and then there's the Nine of Swords. So there's something that you've been investing in, almost out of obligation, or purely out of like need. Like there's something here that doesn't actually, like with the Two of Wands in reverse, align with what it is you do deeply desire. But I feel like you're stuck in, and that keeps you stuck in a cycle of funny enough not having what it is that you desire. But I feel like for you, you feel that there's no other way, and I get that. I absolutely do. I know what it's like to be stuck on a path that's unfulfilling or that doesn't really align with you, because you feel like there's no other option or choice. Like I absolutely know what that's like. But I feel like, especially with the Queen of Pentacles and the Emperor in reverse, there's like there's a false sense of security associated with this. And I say false sense of security because I feel like whatever this is, it might pay the bills, or it might keep you from not being alone, or it might keep you in a place where things are predictable, but it's not actually like what it is that is like truly meant for you. And I know what it's like to be in those spaces, so there's never any judgment in my readings whatsoever, okay? But it feels like there's this part of you that's maybe even avoiding seeing this for what it is, because there is a fear of change here. With the Nine of Swords, there's a lot of anxiety about the future, about what your life would look like if things were different. Sorry about that, Aries. I have no idea why, but my camera just shut off out of nowhere. Anyway, like I was saying, I feel like there is this fear, of change and things being a little bit different. And something that is really coming through with this Page of Wands is that I feel as if this is something that you've outgrown. So it feels that there was a time and a place in your life where this really did align with you and like was right for you and was what was meant for you. But it kind of feels like this, like you're ready for more, almost like you've learned what you've needed to, like you've evolved past some sort of situation or circumstance here. And the shift that you're making, I feel like the adjustments that might be required, the shift that you're making, it's a leveling up. It's almost like stepping into a bigger role, or into further alignment. So I feel like, even if at one point this did really align with you, I'm not saying that it was like completely the wrong thing for you. I feel like it has become over time not as aligned with where you're headed. But let's see what we've got here for your current energy, Aries. Adjustments are required with belief in the impossible. It's almost like energetically there are more doors that are opening up for you. But I feel like there's this fear of really walking through them, which is understandable. I mean, change is really hard, and predictability, we often crave it. Our ego craves that predictability because it likes to know that you can survive there even if it isn't really what aligns with you. But current energy for Aries, adjustments are required with belief in the impossible. So there you are as the Queen of Wands. See, you're feeling a little bit stuck because I almost kind of feel like there is this like realization or like awareness that you have outgrown something, or that something doesn't align with you. But I feel like a lot of the frustration that you have is like, well, I don't know where to go from here. I'm afraid to make, because with the Seven of Cups, like I'm afraid to take the wrong step, or whatever the case might be for you. But I don't feel like this is like an abandonment of path. I don't feel like this is you stepping out completely of some sort of path, but adjusting, like almost like it comes down to leveling up. So 10 of Wands. Ooh, but there's a lot holding you back from that too. Fear, doubt, insecurity. And I think that that's why a lot of people stay in complacency and in relationships and jobs that are incredibly unfulfilling, is because there is, a lot of doubt and a lot of fear that, change is only going to lead to failure. So I watched once, it was a while ago, but this video of Jim Carrey, the actor, giving a speech. And I was actually incredibly impressed by this speech that he gave. And if you've never heard it, look it up. I think it was like a commencement speech. But if you haven't heard it, look it up. It's pretty powerful. But anyway, in it, he was talking about how when he was a kid, and I don't remember the exact age that he mentioned, but his dad got laid off from his job. And come to find out, like his dad, when, before he had kids or whatever, was a really talented comedian and was really passionate about it. Like that was his dream. He really liked making people laugh and all of these things. But when it came down to it, he chose the safe path of being an accountant. He chose the predictable path of being an accountant. And then when Jim Carrey was a young kid, he ended up getting laid off anyway. So it's interesting because it was like he avoided the potential of failure by choosing the safe route. And then that safe route actually led him to the failure that he was trying to avoid in the first place. And he just goes on to kind of talk about how going after the things that, scare you, I think he was saying, like, oftentimes actually lands you exactly where you're meant to be. And maybe you do fail or maybe you do have setbacks, but at least like at the end of the day, you're not looking back going, man, I wish I would have tried that, or I wish I would have taken that leap, or I wish I would have made that choice. And I think that that's kind of where you're at right now, is like really looking at the situations in your life and being like, is this truly like what I want, or is this what I feel chained to because I don't believe that anything else is possible? And then start to dive into that. Why don't I think that more is possible? What has society taught me? What have my parents taught me? What have my, peers taught me that have made me believe that the things that I desire aren't possible? Because that's where you start to set yourself free of, the complacency or the box that maybe you've even been pushed to fit into. And I think that it's really kind of the way, so here's a story, and it's a vulnerable story, but I promise you it's aligned with this, so bear with me. But my grandfather passed away about a year ago, and this was something that was incredibly, this experience was incredibly eye-opening for me, because he was sick, but it took a turn for the worse very, very quickly. So everyone was a little bit surprised, not surprised. We knew he was sick, but the way that things kind of unfolded, it happened really fast. And I remember specifically, and this is a little emotional, but he just kept repeating how he wasn't ready to pass. He was like, I'm not ready to pass. I don't want to pass. I'm not ready to pass. And I remember during that time that was really difficult for me. Like, I couldn't imagine being in that position where, like, you knew your life was ending, but you just were not ready for it. And, like, everything, the life flashing before your eyes, right? And I've really learned through that experience, and Spirit, taught me a lot through that experience of grief to help me understand that when we are at the end of our life, we don't look back and regret doing the thing and failing, or making the tough choice and falling short. We regret what we didn't do. We regret what we didn't go after. We regret playing small. We regret choosing complacency. And through that experience, I made a promise to myself, and I said on my deathbed, I don't want to have any regrets. The only thing I want to be able to say is that I did the best that I could to live the life that was in the fullest, that was to the fullest extent that I could. And that's a promise that I can, it's almost like a promise that I made to my grandfather in a way. And I feel like that's something that living by has actually completely expanded my life, because it's helped me understand that most people in this world choose the safe route. They choose the complacency. They choose what is predictable. But that never even actually provides them with fulfillment or security, because at the end of the day, they're not actually happy, right? So, I mean, I think what a spiritual journey is about, a growth journey, a healing journey, whatever you want to call it, is it's about breaking out of that and going after the things that you would regret not going after. Doing the things that you would look back and say, I wish I would have gone after that. I wish I would have tried that. I wish I would have just done it. I feel like you're kind of in that place right here, Aries, where you're being pulled and called to more. You're being asked to step into more for yourself here. And you can ignore the call if you want, but I encourage you to answer it, because I think that where you're shifting into is something really, really powerful here. So I know that got kind of deep, but I feel like it applies to the message. I think that, we look back and we think of all the ways that things could have been different, but we never, we only regret if we didn't try. You only regret not going after it. You only regret not making that phone call, or not applying for that job, or not starting that business, right? You don't regret starting the business and failing. Now, maybe you make mistakes and that leads to failing. Maybe you regret those mistakes, but what that does is that gives you, new knowledge and opportunities to try again, right? So I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot that you have available for you, almost like opportunities that are calling to you, but a lot of fear that might be holding you back from them. So let's see what Aries needs to know moving forward. It's almost like it's time. It's time for you to open up to more. It's time to stop settling. It's time to stop playing it small. It's time to stop doubting. It's time to stop, living in that doubt. And I think that, that's easy to say. It's easy to talk about. It's always easier when we're doing it in words. But I think that, the more that you can shift yourself into the mindset of, what can I do to live my life to the fullest extent possible, the more that you take risks that you wouldn't take, and you're open up to phone calls that you wouldn't make. There was a time in my life where I spent my days like going to work, I'd come home, I'd eat, I'd binge watch TV, I'd go to bed, I'd wake up, I'd work, and it was just this same old same every single day. And I was so miserable for so long, and I couldn't pinpoint why. And that's because I was just trying to get through life. I was just trying to get through the week, to get through the day, to get through the year. And I didn't realize in that period that my life was just passing me by. One day that I was trying to rush through the next. And when I, kind of went through my spiritual awakening and started manifesting the life that I wanted, I really decided, and I'm not just talking about myself for no reason, okay? It always applies to the messages, but I really decided that I wanted to build a life that I didn't feel I had to get through, but that I truly woke up every single day grateful for living. And I was able to do that. And yeah, there's days where I don't want to work, and there's days where I'm tired, but at the end of the day, I know that my life has meaning. My life has purpose. I'm doing things every single day to improve myself mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And that gives me more of an excitement and a reason to keep going. And I think that I try to say this in like the nicest, but like most truthful way possible. I feel like you've gotten complacent, Aries, and I feel like Spirit is trying to snap you out of maybe like the sleepwalking mode in some way, and say, like, shake you and be like, you have no idea how capable you are and how worthy you are and how deserving you are. But these things, they're not going to just happen. Your dreams aren't going to just fall on your doorstep. These opportunities, you have to create them. You have to show up for them. You have to be them. And I know this from experience, from being in that place where I was just getting through, right? And then again, Spirit kind of slapped me on the face and was like, hey, wake up. And I think that, maybe that's what is happening to you, is you're tired of being in the spaces that you're in. You're tired of playing it small. You're tired of holding yourself back, or, maybe feeling like you don't have the money that you need or the love that you desire. And that, to be honest with you, is a really wonderful place to be, because that's where change starts. That's when you finally go, I'm done with the same and I'm now open to different. And that's what I feel like this future energy is about. You have Two of Pentacles, Knight of Wands, and the Hermit. I mean, this is all about risk taking. This is putting yourself out there. This is reprioritizing, rebalancing. You don't just have to survive, Aries. You're not here to just get through the day. You're here to experience all that this life has to offer. You're here to find fulfillment and joy and peace and love in the little moments. And if you feel like you're lacking that right now, that's okay. It doesn't mean that it's not possible for you. It just means that some changes need to be made. And you don't have to make ginormous changes at once. They can happen, over time. But I feel like this is a time for you to really to rise. I don't know if it's from the ashes or to the occasion or to your potential or what it is, but this really feels like a time like Aries rising in some way. Maybe you are an Aries rising, but I do really feel like you have, Spirit is almost like pushing you to tap into your potential in a deeper way than you ever really have. And I think that it's a really beautiful energy, but I think that it also comes with a lot of fear and anxiety, because it's like, you're like, I don't know, I've never been down this road before, I've never experienced this path before, I don't know what to expect. But that's a good thing, right? That's outside of your comfort zone. That's where possibility lives. So I don't know, I think that this, and coming back to the protection card, like, you're so protected and guided in this path as well. I just feel like this is about Spirit saying, you have been playing small for too long, selling yourself short for too long. And I will say, like, if this reading is for those of you who have already kind of made this choice and are showing up anyway, and maybe are starting to doubt the changes that you've made, keep going. I promise, you're on the right track. You're leveling up. Your life is shifting for the better. And I do think that things are gonna unfold in a way that is going to be very worth it at the end of the day. But all right, Aries, I'm going to hop on over to the extended. We're going to dive deeper into these messages, looking at what you can do right now to ensure you're moving forward in alignment with your higher self. So focusing on that tangible advice. But first, I want to mention the workshop that I have coming up, which is going to be a week from the day that this video releases. So it's going to be Friday, April 25th, and it's going to be at 6 p.m. Central Time. It is a live Zoom workshop, but if you cannot attend live and still wish to be a part of it, there will be, if you purchase a ticket, you will also receive a recording the day after the workshop. I am intentionally keeping this one small because of the way that I have it structured. And because of that, there are only going to be a limited number of tickets available. So and we're getting close to that cap. So tickets will probably be on sale for a couple more days, but if you do wish to be a part of this workshop, I do encourage you to purchase a ticket sooner rather than later. The workshop is all about the secret to manifesting, which is not positive thinking, vision boards, affirmations, okay? Those things are wonderful tools, but that's not the secret. The secret to manifesting is all about embodiment. So this workshop will be breaking down what that really means, looking at the psychology behind manifesting, really just breaking down the myths about manifesting and providing some clarity on what it really means to manifest. And I'm really excited about this one. Like I said, I've poured so much into this workshop, and it's one that I'm really, really proud of. So I obviously hope to see you guys there. Otherwise, thank you so much, Aries, as always, for your support of my channel. Oh, last thing, any information for that is at the top of the description box below. But as always, thank you so much, and I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. Bye, Aries.